The 2026 NFL Draft is exactly 1 week away. Here on the Halas Huddle, we are going to give you three, that's right, not one, not two, three 7-round mock drafts for what the Chicago Bears can do with their picks. And you, the Halas Huddlers, will get to choose in the comments which of the three mock drafts is best. I'm Rob Schwartz with Bear Goggles On. Joined with me tonight is my good friend and co-host, Justin Onayemi. And our special guest for this mock draft episode, Gary Rappaport-Ross himself. This is the Halas Huddle, where we channel our anticipation for this upcoming draft into great content for you to enjoy and critique.
That's right, Rob. Thank you, Gary, for joining us on tonight's show. And thank you to the Halas Huddlers for taking our content in each and every time we release. You have a big job to do, as Rob said, so please subscribe, like, and comment. You will be choosing the winner of our dueling mock drafts. So, without further ado, let's get right to it, Rob.
All right. We are going to start with, there's got to be rules, right? I mean, we can't just go out and do whatever we want. We're not going to be like, all right, we're going to trade for Max Crosby because he didn't get traded to Baltimore. No, that doesn't get to happen. Maybe we could have traded for Dexter Lawrence, but no, that was not in the rules either. There were no NFL player trades allowed. We used the website Pro Football Sports Network, PFSN, their mock draft. It is a free mock draft simulator. I chose it because we had Jacob Infante on the show once earlier this year, and he is one of the main guys over there. In fact, you can even choose his rankings now as an option. But we had a setup where we had to choose the consensus rankings. And again, all seven rounds, and we could not trade more than twice.
All right.
Get into it. You guys ready?
We're ready.
All right. First round. I don't know how to do the sound off my head without actually hearing it, but here we go. The Chicago Bears are on the clock at pick number 25 with 8 minutes on the clock, not 10. Here we go.
Is it going to Gary or me?
I'll shoot it to you in just a second. Oh, right. Crap. Where did it go? Here we go. All right.
Well, you look at that.
Gary is up first. But before we even get to Gary, at pick 25, there's a trade. None of us stayed at 25. Oh, my goodness. None of us knew what each other were doing, by the way. This is completely off script, on our own, not something that we did together. But, Gary, I'm going to throw it to you. Look, you made a trade at 25. What you did here, I got you trading 25 to the Seattle Seahawks for 32. So you're moving all the way to the very bottom of the first round. Still get that fifth-year option. Congratulations on that. And you're gaining pick 64 in the second round. Who did you take at 32?
I took Colton Hood, the corner from Tennessee. As people know, he was CB1 this year with McCoy out all season. He's 6 feet, 190-ish. He's press man corner. Would fit perfectly in a DA system. And we know that Stevenson needs competition, hoping he does well, but whether it's competition for Stevenson or to even push Jalen Johnson with his injury history, he'll need a new contract probably next year because he's out of guaranteed money. So people now know cornerbacks a need, and looks like at least Justin and I both agree on that. I was actually offered a similar trade as Justin was, but I denied that because I was trying to keep draft capital in this draft and build up the roster.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love giving up that 129, but as you see on the screen here, I was able to get a second-round pick in 2027. It's supposed to be another strong draft, and you want to build this thing through the draft.
Much stronger than this one.
So I kind of like that. But when it comes to Colton Hood, you said a lot of good things there. I think he's got versatility. He does play well in press man, but he also can play zone. I know, Rob, you watch way more film than I do, but from what I could see, when he would get beat, he recovers very quickly. And his on-the-ball production might not jump off the screen at people, but I think he's good in coverage, and Al Harris is going to coach him up. We still have Al Harris for one more year. Well, I think one more year. And so I think that's a good fit for the Bears. I was really happy he fell there. And at 25, you see we all traded. There were only two guys I was really hoping would be there, and they both were gone, and they were both safeties with Thieneman and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. after that, a lot of guys look kind of the same to me. So pick up a little more draft capital and see who falls to you. And in this case, it was Colton Hood. Happy with the pick.
Now, I traded completely out of the first round. There goes our 5th-year option. I don't really care. I got 2 extra picks out of it, and I couldn't pass it up because I felt like this draft, everything in that top 50 range. I know I'm at 70 here with that extra pick, but if you can use that maybe to get back in, that would be in your favor as well. So I got a 3rd and a 4th round pick out of it. I feel very good about it. And to your point, Justin, there were a few guys that I was looking at that just weren't falling. Those 2 safeties, one of them, Caden Proctor, another one. And I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to move on. I wanted extra picks. So let's get out of the first round and move on to the second, where I feel like this might make or break the Chicago Bears draft class in 2026. Gary, I'm throwing it back to you. We got Colton Hood on the board at 32. You get 2 picks here, 57 and 60. Why don't you talk us through it?
Jason and I are very similar with our picks.
You are.
So Malachi Lawrence at 57. Great pass rusher, 6'4", 250, slightly undersized for DA, but has long arms. I actually compare Malachi Lawrence coming out similar to Austin Booker. And if you follow the Dane Bruglers and Daniel Jeremiah's of the world, if Booker actually stayed the extra year, they pegged him as a late 1st, early 2nd. And that's kind of where Lawrence is, maybe a slightly little bit later in the draft, but definitely a 2nd round pick. And I think he would be great to bring in as a rotational defensive end to start out with. Again, I would consider him more your pass rushing specialist for this year, because as much as we make fun of Dio, he is still a very good run setting edge, and we know DA likes that. And with coming off that Achilles injury, you could keep him fresh with Lawrence. And with Turner coming off the ACL, Poles has talked about he was on the same trajectory as Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. Whether we believe that or not, that's a different story. But again, Turner's more your run setting edge, has a little bit of upside as a pass rusher. But Lawrence can be that Austin Booker role this year. Pass rush specialist, come in on pure passing downs, 3rd downs, and bring that pressure to help out, Montez Sweat and others. And then at 60, Keontae Scott had a top 30 visit with the Bears, getting a lot of love publicly now. Brings that versatility, similar in that kind of CJ Gardner-Johnson role, plays the nickel. Hasn't played too much safety in his career. I think it's like, to be honest, less than 10 snaps. But I think that with Al Harris, to your point, like, he could help Keontae Scott. He is an older prospect. He'll be 24. But in the 2nd round, I'm okay with taking a little bit of older prospect. I wasn't okay with that in the 1st round because, to your point, we want that 5th-year option. We want that 2nd contract. So when Scott's up at 28 years old, even if you give him another 3 or 4 year deal, it's not too far into the future where it's like, okay, he's 35 and we really need to consider something else. But speed with my 2 picks, and that's where I landed.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say much more about Malachi Lawrence. Gary, you said a lot of stuff about him that I think applies and why he was a good pick here. I will say the other edges that I probably would target around this time, they were all off the board. And that's Gabe Akis out of Illinois, Derek Moore out of Michigan, and Denai Dennis Sutton out of Penn State. I love my Big Ten, as you can tell. But those are all guys that I feel like right away, they're in the rotation. If they were to impress right away, they could be the defensive edge across from Montez Sweat. As you said, he probably needs a little bit more in the run game, but that's probably why you're getting him at 57 and not having to take him in the 1st round. With 60, this is where I traded, and I kind of recouped that pick that I sent away in the 1st pick by getting 125 back. But I did have to throw in a 6 next year, but that's a dart throw, and we'll worry about that a year from now. So only going down 3 picks, I pretty much was still looking at a lot of the same players, and I was really excited to see Jadarian Price was there. That's completely a BPA pick. You already got Swift and Monungai. In this scenario, though, he's either your running back 3 and maybe your kick returner, or you now can look to see if you're going to trade DeAndre Swift. Now, if you do that, you're running out a rookie and a 2nd-year player, but the Bears will have to see what they have in camp. And they still do have to fiddle around with the salary cap a little bit. So if you do deal Swift, maybe that's going to generate some money for this draft class. as well as, going in with a little bit of flexibility into the season. So I was really happy. My first 3 picks, very solid players. Rob, what did you do? Your first picks of the draft.
Yeah. So before I even get into my stuff, this is a duel. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I hate your Malachi Lawrence picks. I think it's going to ruin your whole entire draft class. I think both of you automatically lose now just because of it, which instantly makes me a winner no matter what I do the rest of this draft. Just joking. I do have him as a really early 3rd round pick though. So I'm to your point. I understand why you took him because edges were going, and what else were you going to do? And a lot of the later round edges just don't fit the mold in the system that Dennis Allen likes to run. So obviously, though, I did like Gary's other pick. We'll get to that in a second. I went defensive end first, but I also had the benefit that you guys didn't. I knew what your draft picks were because I had to set up this whole entire slide presentation, right? So I wanted to be very different. I will say I have been the one pounding the table for corner for over a month now. That has been the way I've been going in almost all of my mock drafts to start in the first round, whether it's staying at 25 or trading back slightly, but staying within that round. Brandon Cisse is another guy that I'm really high on that I feel like could be in that round area with Colton Hood. So I did my trade. I went with TJ Parker. I think getting him at 39 is an absolute steal. An absolute steal. This is a 1st round graded player for me, a late 1st round graded player, but a guy who is, Clemson changed their defensive coordinator between 2024 and 2025. Things changed systematically at Clemson. The whole entire defensive line dropped off. You still saw plenty of emphasis. You still saw him get over 40 pressures in 2025. You still saw him get 5 sacks. There was production there. He is a not great, but a very good run defender as well. I absolutely love getting him here at 39, and I think he fits the system very well, size-wise, skill-wise. Let's move on. 57. Like I said, I love 60. Gary got Keontae Scott. I reached for him a little bit earlier here, not much at 57, but everything you said about Scott, I think applies. Every time I would watch the Miami film and look at Ruben Bain, look at Akeem Mesidor, this guy just stood out. I wasn't even watching defensive backs, and this guy just kept standing out. I kept seeing him blitz from the edge and get to the quarterback, or at least put pressure on. I saw him making open field tackles as they basically ran his direction away from either Bain or Mesidor on the other side. Absolutely fantastic tackler. The only downside on him, in my opinion, is his age. Like you said, Gary, 24 years old. But you're taking a chance here in the 2nd round. It's a lot different than taking that chance in the 1st round. Stukes would also fall into this category as well. I did consider him here. Very similar. I think you could either play nickel or safety. Kind of similar to like CJ Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon. You kind of can just mix them up a little bit. I got my center, guys. I went early. I get it. But the problem is I just felt like there's 2 guys that I really, really like in this draft. Sam Heck is one of them. Connor Lew is the other. The reason that I have Heck higher in my rankings than Lew is, did I say something wrong?
No, you're just late.
Okay. Is the only reason that I went with Lew over Heck. I'm sorry. The reason I have Heck ranked higher than Lew is just because of the knee situation with Connor Lew. I don't have access to his medicals. I am hoping that teams are doing their homework, figuring out what's going on with that knee. Everything that I've read is that he is ahead of schedule. If that is the case, he is only 20 years old, has plenty of experience playing that center position at Auburn. Absolutely love this guy. He has the strength. He's a former wrestler. He has the speed to move laterally. Great run defender. Absolutely in love with how this draft is going already. I'm already winning.
2nd round center, Rob?
That's right.
All right. We'll see.
That's right.
I think that might eliminate you.
Not even Olin was a 2nd round center, and he's a Pro Bowler, All Pro, and hopefully future Hall of Famer, Rob. So
Connor Lew is going to be better than Olin Kreutz. I don't know what to tell you.
Let me add one more.
On a serious note, I mean, your hope is whatever center we draft, whatever round, they're really sitting out the year. The hope is Bradbury could hold down the fort regardless of timing. They could learn Ben's, very difficult system. We know that it's hard to learn behind Bradbury, the veteran, and at worst case, if Bradbury gets hurt, then you have the center ready to go maybe 2nd half of the season. hopefully you're not starting Connor Lew or any of the other centers we may have drafted, which we'll get to.
One more quick thing I got to throw in because Jadarian Price is my wild card here. Nobody else has him.
I love it.
He was behind Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame, so therefore didn't get quite as many carries, a little less tread on the tires, if you will, which reminds me of Roshan Johnson.
But I was going to say, do you have any concerns? You have no concerns with that kind of coming back to life again?
No, I feel like in his limited time, he was still showing his production, his ability, and he's coming to Ben Johnson's offense. So they'll find ways to use this guy that would excite me. A lot of explosive plays in his future with the Bears.
Yeah, Roshan's issues was, in my opinion, mostly concussions. He just could not stay healthy. All right, are we good? We ready to move on to round 3, guys?
We're good.
All right. I got plenty more to go here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
All right, Gary. You got 2 third-round picks.
I do. So I traded 64, which I don't think, Rob, you put in here. So I traded 64, which I originally got in the trade down, and I gave up one of our 7th rounders, 239, and I traded down to 71, and I also got 123 back. And that trade was with the Chargers. So at 71, what'd you say?
I don't know how I missed that.
No worries. So I moved back, 7 spots in the 3rd round. At the beginning of the 3rd round, I didn't love who was there. So Chargers came calling. They traded up to get their guy. And at 71, I took Zachariah Branch, the wide receiver out of Georgia. And he's 5'8.5", 5'9", but he's a speed demon. He's going to run all your vertical routes. Wide receiver is a sneaky need right now because if you look at the room, you've got Luther, we've got Rome, we've got Khalif Raymond, and we've got Jade Walker, right, on paper. So you need another body, maybe 2, right, depending on how you kind of view everything. And Branch is a little similar to Khalif Raymond in the sense like he's a smaller guy, he's a speed guy, but he's younger. He can learn, and also Branch is a kick returner. He did a lot of kick returning in college. And as much as we love Khalif Raymond, he's more pure punt returner, can return kicks, but I kind of double dip with this pick. The vertical threat down the field, but also can be our kick returner for 2026 and, far out. And then at 89, I actually took Rob's number 1 center in Sam Hecht. I thought this was great value, late in the 3rd round. Similar, spot where we got Olin, as I just mentioned a little bit ago. And again, Sam Hecht, great in the zone, heavy scheme. Plug and play, been great, for Kansas State. Everyone's going to look at this as the next Cody Whitehair. I think he's a lot better than Cody Whitehair. Cody Whitehair was a guard and tackle mostly in college. Sam Hecht's been their center. And again, he's going to sit and he's going to learn, and you don't have to rush him. So very happy with how the 3rd round turned out for me after I traded down. Justin, you?
Yeah, so for me, I just have the 1 pick in the 3rd, but I do think I made the most of it. We've said sneaky pick a couple times already. I would say the least sneaky pick is that the Bears need a safety. Right now, you really just have Kobe Bryant when you look at starters. And as I said before, there were some guys I was hoping that I would even consider at 25 that are plug and play right away. But here at 89, I went with Kamari Ramsey, who I think is probably one of the last guys in that tier where I still feel he can go in and be a day 1 starter for you right away. He's versatile. He can play kind of your traditional safety, but also could be in there as like a nickel in some regards. I think he's good in coverage, but also can come support in the run. When it comes to ball production, just like I said with Colton Hood, the numbers don't necessarily jump off the page. And once again, I'm saying this is where I want Al Harris to kind of put his magic into these guys. But I think you'd have a solid day 1 starter with Kamari Ramsey. So I was happy to still address probably one of their biggest needs here in the 3rd round. And I'm happy with the way the draft's going so far. Rob, what do you got?
I would just like to now applaud you guys. As much as I complained and tore you guys down, getting Hecht at 89, getting Ramsey at 89, those are great moves. I actually have both of those guys as 2nd round grades. No, I take that back. I have Hecht as a very early 3rd round grade. But still, to get him at 89, absolutely fantastic. I made a trade, guys. Look, I need to get more draft picks because I spent a second-round pick on a center. I mean, what was I thinking, right? So at 70, I traded down again. Just like you, Justin, I gave up a future 6th-round pick, but I was able to move down 7 spots and get a 5th-round pick in return. Sorry, a 4th-round pick in return at 116. Here's where I get crazy, guys. At 77, I took a defensive tackle. I got 2 defensive linemen on this roster, and I know why I did it. Because the fans want it, and I want to win. That's the only reason why. And I got 9 picks overall in this draft. I feel like if you can add more draft picks, it makes sense to double up at positions, double up at spots. That's what I did here, and they get the Oklahoma defensive tackle, Grayson Halton, who is a undersized guy, fits exactly what Dennis Allen loves in his scheme, but he is extremely fast off the line of scrimmage. Not the best run defender, but he uses his hands well, can do stunts and twists with his speed. He's a true gap penetrator, something I feel like this team is a little bit missing from the pass rush standpoint in the interior. I know I love Gervon Dexter, but this guy's got a much better get off than Dexter does. He does need to develop more pass rush moves, counter moves, and where he struggles, and the reason why he's falling this far is he doesn't have the strength to fight off those double teams. He's not going to be able to stack and shed as well as some of these other defensive tackles. So that's why he's here. And then at 89, I grabbed my corner finally. I went with Malik Muhammad, a lengthy guy out of Texas. Another guy, look, they keep saying they want speed. Here's another guy with speed. He's got 4.4 speed, a 1.51 10-yard split. He's smooth. He's fluid hips. Very high in football intelligence, a little lean, and a little bit in the inconsistency with his tackling. And I think that's a reason why you're going to see him fall here into the 3rd, maybe into the early 4th. Only 3 interceptions, too, so the production is a little bit lower there. And can be seen as handsy. So somebody who might be generating some PI calls, some defensive holding penalties, he's going to have to get that Al Harris coaching to improve.
Are you not worried that he's not known as a press man corner, he's more as a zone corner at all? At this spot, you're willing to take the risk.
I'm willing to take him this far down. There wasn't really anyone else on the board corner-wise that I was like, all right, I'm feeling great about. And there wasn't anyone positional-wise outside of other positions where I felt like, the value was just there. Oh, nightmare round, guys. I guarantee you, anyone we drafted here, even guys who are not necessarily a fit, would do a much better job than what Ryan Poles has done in the past in the 3rd round. That's all I got to say.
You sure it's Ryan, not Ian? Ian's gone now. We shall see, my friend.
Blame the guy who left.
Blame the guy who left that made him not trade up
we
for the
couldn't
guy who
get
got it 9.
Secondary thirds for him, right? That's the reason.
Maybe that's what – see, he was trying to give the gift back, and it just didn't work. Fuck you, NFL.
Conspiracy.
All right, you're going to see the whole draft board now. We're going to quickly go through day 3 prospects. Gary, I'm going to throw it to you. You got 3 guys left if you want to quickly discuss, and then we'll do a quick recap at the end.
So we got in the 4th round, I got or is that early 5th? I can't even remember what I traded. Caleb Proctor, defensive tackle. He's a name out there we know now. 6'2", 290, smaller defensive tackle, but fits the Dennis Allen kind of scheme fit. Quick penetrating, speed again. His trouble is small school, as well as, not cleaning up his gaps great. But at this point, late 4, early 5, I'm willing to take the risk, put him in the rotation, learn under Grady Jarrett, and hopefully, maybe a starter next year. Pick 129. I take my running back to replace Roschon Johnson and Emmett Johnson. Big Ten out of Nebraska. 5'10", another guy, pure speed. He's a little bit leaner, but he was a backup the last 2 years. And this year, when he got his starting spot in Nebraska, he just dominated. And I think it's a great spot here to take the running back again. You're not looking for someone to be day 1 starter. You're looking for someone to come in and compete. Again, with all that speed, potentially could be put on kick returns. He didn't have too many in college, but has that potential at least to maybe learn in the pros. And then in the 7th round, I took a flyer, Eric Gentry, 6'7", 220, linebacker technically from USC. He looks like a tight end, to be honest. But he's got 35-inch arms. And so I was kind of picturing him in the, mold we had last year with why am I blanking? Who did we just lose? Why can't I think about who we just lost at linebacker?
Tremaine Edmonds.
Thank you. I don't know why I just blame it. He fits that mold. So again, but it a linebacker, he needs to add weight. But again, he's got a lot of speed. I've seen some people joke on social media that maybe Ben Johnson should use him on offense too as like a hybrid, tight end as well. But he's coming in for special teams. Same with Johnson, the pick before. But Gentry's really special teams. I think he'd be better than Ruben Hippolyte. I mean, he's got more production than Ruben Hippolyte. And so, but again, this is a flyer on pure traits. And worst case, he goes to the practice squad for a year and learn, and maybe he could be a backup linebacker, in 2027.
Well, we know 7th round is dart throws. Rob, you're even saying the whole day is dart throws.
Saturday is for the boy. No, not the boys. It's for the darts.
I say if Gentry doesn't work for the Bears, the Bulls might need him. 6'7" with long arms. That sounds like a basketball guy. But so you guys both had centers early, and those were the names we're used to hearing, along with Jake Slaughter and Logan Jones. I didn't get any of those guys, but I got a guy right beneath there, which is Matt Golban out of Michigan State. He has experience in college playing center and both guard positions. So I like that flexibility, especially because with Bradbury, you're expecting him to be your starter this year. He can learn behind him. And, you also have that with Luke Newman. So it's kind of like seeing, okay, which of these guys is going to be the center of the future, but the other guy has the background in guard. And you're not going to have Jonah Jackson and Tooney forever. So I think getting some depth in the interior was important, and I think I got that with this pick. Now that just left me my 2 7th-round picks, and I went wide receiver with Lewis Bond. He's a bit undersized at only 5'11", and I think what is his weight? Actually, I'm not sure on the weight, but he has under 30-inch arms or around 30-inch arms. So none of that is too impressive, but he makes up for that in crisp route running. And I feel like that's a dream for Ben Johnson, a guy who's going to know how to get open, know where to be. So I like that. And as Gary pointed out, wide receiver is kind of a thinner position. It's top heavy, but I put in someone there who can hopefully compete. Maybe he's a practice squad guy at first. And then my final pick, ILLINI, baby. We're going with Luke Altmaier. And here's the thing. The maximum trade value for Tyson Bagent was this past offseason, with the next best being maybe midseason, a team might be willing to take a flyer on him. And if that's the case, you're going to want to have another young backup, not one who's ready to be a coach. And so I think Altmaier, who he doesn't have anything that pops off the page, but he's a smart player, can learn the system, and we have a very, very durable guy in front of him. So maybe it's my blue and orange goggles there, but when I saw him available, pretty much the last pick here, I said, let's give it a shot. I think he could be a good backup in the NFL, and the Bears will need that if they move on from Tyson Bagent.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't do. We didn't trade Tyson Bagent in any of these, but it's definitely possible, right? Definitely possible. All right. I have 4 guys to get through. I'm going to just whip through them as quickly as possible. But the whole point, or the whole trait that I feel like I focused on in this entire draft is speed. Speed is all around outside of one guy who is in these 4 picks. But first, we're going to go with Dazon Stribling out of Ole Miss. He's an older wide receiver. He's a little over 23 years old, but look, another guy who's extremely fast, 4.3 speed, excels at locating deep balls, something that, those overthrows, maybe he's one of those guys that's actually going to get there. He adjusts well to the ball without losing any of his stride. Physical run blocker, and this is the main reason why I loved him for the Chicago Bears. You got to block to get the rock, and I think Ben Johnson would absolutely fall in love with him. One of the best blockers in this draft class. Loves mixing it up with linebackers and defensive backs. Just loves to just go pop those guys, get in their faces. Doesn't always do well, though, with contested catches. So he'll have to, get that open space And for as fast as he is, what's kind of interesting, he kind of lacks that short area burst. So we'll have to see how that works, with the shorter routes. But get him in here, give him a sub package to get going, have him as your wide receiver 4. Absolutely love it. The guy that's not fast, Markel Bell, doesn't really fit the scheme at all. 6'9", 340 pounds, big freakish athlete, but just not one of those guys who's going to get that lateral quickness. But when it came to offensive tackle, again, I had all these extra picks. I wanted to get a project. I know, Gary, you said they're not interested in a project, but when I feel like you have 9 picks, it's okay to take a project this late in the game, especially a guy who has such length. I want to say his arm length is close to 36 inches off the top of my head. Just massive, massive, massive guy. Great run or pass blocker too, by the way. Just absolutely freakish. He gets his hands on you. You cannot get off. He has extremely powerful grip. But again, the run blocking is going to be the problem. He would not be a plug and play day one starter. But we got a lot of guys here on 1-year deals. So he could just be the new Karan Amagaji, who is basically the Ruben Hippolyte of the offensive line and just a bust. Okay. Demond Claiborne, running back out of Wake Forest. You want to talk about a guy with speed, another guy with elite speed, a guy who's shifty. He's got plenty of wiggle. He does have that short area burst. That dribbling is missing. Can be used on special teams too, and as a kick returner. So I think that would be a great fit for this offense and would be a good difference option. He's a leaner guy. He's like 185 pounds, I think. So he's definitely on the lighter side. But a good third option. I'm sorry, he's 195. A good third option with Swift and Mononga. They kind of just differentiate enough. And then I traded in this trade. I didn't even mention it. Somehow we got Justin Jefferson for pick 241, a 7th round. Minnesota is they're out of their minds right now, sending us Justin Jefferson. Oh, that doesn't say wide receiver. Damn it, this is linebacker. Oh, it's the guy out of Alabama. But again, another guy with rare speed, 4.4 range. You constantly see him running guys down. He can be a spy if he was to even be on the field. He could be a spy against mobile quarterbacks. You could use him in practice when you're going up, you got the scout team. You got to go up against those Jalen Hurts and whatever other mobile quarterbacks might be facing this year. You could use him as your scout defender or scout quarterback over there and just have to chase him down. But he'll step in on special teams, and he's a good tackler, just light frame and somebody you could just develop.
Rob, you threw a stray at Karan Amagaji and then followed that up with another stray at Ruben Hippolyte. Very
I sure as hell did.
Very impressive.
To get those 2 names tattooed on him at one point.
They might be mixed in with my half sleeve, and you don't even know.
So I think you should also include on mine that I did get a 2027 second-round pick. I think that should be in the viewers'
should be on the recap. You are right. I apologize.
That's okay. And Golden Domers, we got Jadarian Price in mind. So I think that's pretty valuable. He could be a
homer picks. I stayed away from the homer picks. I could have easily gone with some very good homer picks. But
all Indiana, right?
No, I don't.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Mendoza's falling all the way to 25, Gary. You want to switch out Mendoza for Caleb?
I did not say that. Do not put words in my mouth, Rob.
Well, hey, Indiana, that might be the new home of the Bears pretty soon. So
that's right. We're all going to be Indiana homers.
That's a new episode. That's an episode for another time.
Isn't the running joke is that they'll announce something on day 1 of draft, right?
There you go.
Well, there's some stuff in the works. Nothing's going to happen before the draft, guaranteed. We actually have a special episode coming out the end of this week, going into the weekend. So stay tuned for that regarding the stadium situation. But now it's time to debate. Now it's time to quickly get your talks in really quick because you each get 30 seconds. Talk up your team. Tell everyone why they need to go to the comment section and vote for you. Gary, 30 seconds. Your elevator pitch.
My whole team is pure speed. Ryan and Ben have both said that they need to add a lot of speed and youth. Other than Keontae Scott, I added all that in this particular draft. Got extra picks on that. Didn't give up anything crazy. And all these guys could play on the Bears next year. I'm not worried about guys going to the practice squad. So vote for me.
All right. Well,
wait, remember Justin has a second round pick in a better draft class of 2027 because that does play a part.
Thanks for that. That doesn't even count towards my 30 seconds, but thank you. I addressed key positions that the Bears have needs with corner and safety. Edge obviously has been a need, and we got a guy here who has shown good production and would be a good fit on this team. Jadarian Price is the one that stands out to me. I didn't know we'd be able to get a running back that good. And I think as you look at next year when they'll lose DeAndre Swift, most likely after one season, he's going to be in the running back 1-2 combo with Monangai for years to come. And then depth, which is always important on your offensive line. I got a guy with some flexibility and versatility being the key word there.
All right. Just like Gary, I got speed, but better defensive end than both of you two. So I already win in that position. Keontae Scott is a match with Gary and better than Kamari Ramsey in that position. Versatility. I got the best center in the draft. No, I have the second best center in the draft class, and I reached for
overpaid.
And I reached for him. What? Don't trash my team while I'm talking. I'm trashing it myself. I got Grayson Halton, who I think everybody in Bears fandom loves. I threw him in there just for that reason, but I do love him too. He's got gap penetration that a lot of these guys just don't have. The corner position I probably could have done a little bit better at, but I got one of the best blocking wide receivers, and we know Ben Johnson is going to love that. And I got Justin Jefferson. That wins the draft right there. Oh, and I love Price too. But look, Kyle Monangai was a 7th-round pick that should have been a 4th-round pick for Ruben Hippolyte. We'll throw another rip on him as well. So Claiborne there is just as good in the 6th, 5th. 129 is a 5th. But Justin Jefferson in the 7th, I win. Go vote. I win.
Rob took guys that don't fit the scheme. Go vote for Rob.
That's right.
I got 2 guys that don't fit the scheme. And honestly, Muhammad's not that bad.
Well, honestly, the viewers are going to have a tough choice here. I like all 3 drafts, which means the Bears are going to be in a good position, folks. We're only a week away. I can't wait till it's no longer a mock and it's the real thing. Plenty more to break down. Rob, do you think we're going to get to 17 mocks?
No. We're at 9 if you count these 3.
All right. Well, we fell a little short, but these 3 are pretty strong. So
we're going to hit double digits because I have at least one more to discuss. That's not necessarily our mock, but I have at least one more to discuss, and I'll count it. And then I want to get at least one more in where we do go offensive tackle in that first round. I just want to see how that plays out.
Fair enough. We'll get double digits then. That's right. Admirable.
That's right. All right,
Gary.
Gary, I was going to say, Gary, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for guest spotting in here for Bob. If you have anything to plug, anyone you want to talk up, your wife's Etsy shop, now's the time to do it. It's not Etsy. I'm sorry. It's like Instagram.
No, yeah, she's on Instagram. No, my wife does make plushies from different types of yarn and stuff. So he is on there. It's Cozy Stitches, and Rob's seen it, so she does really well. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on. We'll keep talking ball and go from there. And yeah, a week from now, we'll know who the first pick is, and I'm sure everybody in Bears fandom will agree whether they stick at 25, they trade down, they trade up, they trade out, and not one person will have an opinion on the pick. So home run. So thanks, guys.
If you guys want to see Gary in person, go buy a CHGO Friday draft party ticket, right?
Yes, I will be there on Friday. Thursday, my daughter has a musical concert, so family first.
How do schools not already have the Bears off-season schedule memorized, and you don't put something against day one of the NFL draft?
I said that.
How does my kid have a track meet? My other kid have a music concert, and his stupid soccer coach has practice on day 2 for both teams.
It should be a holiday,
right? What a stupid soccer coach I am.
I forgot. I didn't even catch that. All right. Well, this was fun, guys.
That was. I appreciate you guys' time. Huddlers, subscribe, like, comment, bear down, paws up.
As after Packers